So last time we read, Katie had just turned into Sparkle, and she was about to cut Suzanne's hair. Not easy, right? She was very nervous, and she didn't know what she was doing. So let's find out what happens next. Slowly, Katie held up the scissors. She made a snip here and a cut there, then a snip at the bottom and a cut near the top. Snip, cut, snip, cut. Katie smiled. The two women watching weren't making any faces. Maybe this wasn't as hard as she thought, and she thought Suzanne's hair didn't look too bad. At least, it didn't look bad to Katie. Suzanne, on the other hand, had a very different reaction when she actually saw her hair. "Ah!" she shouted. "What have you done to me?" "Don't you like it?" Katie asked. "Like it? I hate it. The left side is longer than the right, the bangs are all choppy, and there are these two pieces sticking out over my right ear." Katie studied her head. Funny, she hadn't noticed any of those things before. Can you notice those things? At first, neither of the customers said anything. They just stood there with their mouths open. But then they began talking all at once. One said, I remember I have to feed my cat," and she ran for the door. The other said, I had to go home and wash my hair." Katie reminded her she was in a salon and that she could wash her hair. The woman didn't say anything. She just bolted for the door. Now Katie and Suzanne were the only ones left in the shop. "My mother is going to be here any minute, and she's going to go bonkers," said Suzanne. "Suzanne, please be quiet. Sparkles, I'm losing all my customers." "I don't care about your customers," Suzanne exclaimed. Katie couldn't believe how mean her friend was being. Katie had tried her very best to give her a good haircut. Haircutting was really hard. But Suzanne didn't care about all that. All she cared about was herself. Katie suddenly felt tears building up inside of her, but she knew she couldn't let Suzanne see her cry. She was pretty sure real hairstylists never cried, so she excused herself for hairspray in the closet. "I have to go find some extra strength hairspray to hold your hair in place." "I don't want my hair to stay like this," Suzanne said. But Katie barely heard her. She was already on her way to the supply closet that was in the back of the salon. Her tears started to fall. She felt terrible about everything. She thought about Suzanne's uneven hair and the customers who'd run out. She felt a cool breeze suddenly on the back of her neck. She looked around. There was no windows in the closet and no fans. It had to be the magic wind. Suddenly the magic wind whirled around her like a tornado. And then it stopped, just like that. The magic wind was gone, and Katie Kazoo was back to her old self. So was Sparkle, and boy was she confused. "Where am I?" she asked. "You're in the supply closet. Don't you recognize it?" "I do, but why am I in here?" "Well, you were trying to get away from Suzanne. She was mad at you for screaming. And she was screaming, and you couldn't take it anymore. So you kind of ran off to the closet. You said you were looking for hairspray." "Why was Suzanne mad?" Sparkle asked. "The haircut wasn't what she wanted," Katie said. "The haircut? I cut her hair?" Before Katie could say another word, she heard a voice. "Where is she? Where is Sparkle?" Katie knew the voice. It was Suzanne's mom, and she was not happy. "I better go talk to her," Sparkle said, "although I'm not sure what I'm going to say." "There's the person who ruined my hair. There she is," Suzanne shouted as she pointed to Sparkle. "I didn't ruin anything," Katie shouted. Suzanne stared, confused. "Not you, Sparkle." "Oops." I meant to say your hair's not ruined," Katie said. "Yes, it is, and my modeling show is in 2 hours. I don't have time to get it fixed." Sparkle told her she could fix it. And Suzanne's mom kind of said, "Yeah, no, she's done enough." "We're leaving." She took Suzanne by the hand. Then she turned to Katie. "Aren't you coming?" Katie looked around. The salon was empty, and Katie felt awful. After all, this was all her fault. She had to do something to make Sparkle feel better. "No, I need a haircut. My mom is working at the bookstore. She'll come by and pay for my cut when Sparkle's finished." "Katie, you are nuts. You could wind up looking like a witch." Katie shook her head. "I'm sure I'll look just fine," Katie said. "Okay, Sparkle, let's get started." She wasn't really so sure. Sparkle was kind of a weird lady. What if she did something weird to Katie's hair? Something even weirder than what Katie had done to Suzanne's? Was that even possible? Sparkle was like a magician with scissors. She gave Katie a trim and added some cool new layered bangs. At first, Katie felt a little sad that her dad wouldn't be at the concert and would have to wait to see her new hairstyle. But by the time she arrived at Suzanne's modeling school to see her runway show, she was in a good mood. "Oh, Katie, there you are!" exclaimed Mrs. Locke. "You have to make Suzanne change her mind." "About what?" Katie asked. "She's refusing to go on because of her hair. I've tried talking to her about it, but it's no use," said her mom. Katie wasn't sure if she could say anything that would make Suzanne feel better, but she had to try. "Where is she?" she asked. "Backstage. You can't miss her." And boy, that was the truth. Katie went to the back, and all she could see was Suzanne with a paper bag on her head. She was the only one crying. "Hi, Suzanne," Katie greeted her. "Hi, Katie," Suzanne said. "Are you almost ready?" Katie asked. "You go on in a few minutes." "Oh, no, I'm not going on. I can't let anyone see me." "Yes, you're right," Katie sighed. "I am?" Suzanne asked. She sounded surprised. Katie nodded. "It's not like you're a real model, or this is a real runway show or anything." "I am a real model," Suzanne declared, and she took the bag off her head. "No, you're not," Katie said. "A real model would go on no matter what. She would make it work, but you—" "I can make this work. I can make anything work." Suzanne picked up a comb and started smoothing down her hair. "You'd better leave. Katie, I only have a couple minutes before my big moment." "I don't know what you said to Suzanne," Mrs. Locke said, "but it worked. She looked great up there." "I know," Katie agreed. "Oh, there she is," Mrs. Locke exclaimed. She scooped up Heather and hurried over to Suzanne. Katie followed close behind. A large crowd of modeling students had gathered around Suzanne. Some were about the same age as Suzanne and Katie. Some of them looked like teenagers. But they were all talking about the same thing: Suzanne's hair. "I love your asymmetrical cut," one of the teenagers told her. "My what cut?" "Asymmetrical," the girl said. "It means when the sides aren't even. It's the newest thing. I saw it in a magazine." "Oh, of course. I made a special request when I went to the salon. I said exactly what I wanted." Katie choked back a laugh. That wasn't quite the way it happened, as she remembered. "What salon?" another teenager girl asked. "Sparkle's salon. It's brand new. I discovered it." The teenage girls pulled out their cell phones. "I'm calling right now for an appointment." "I'm definitely going to that salon," another agreed. "Sparkle is clearly a genius," her friend added. "Sparkle's not the genius. I am. I'm the one who asked for something that would make me stand out." But the girls weren't listening to Suzanne anymore. She was a hit, and they all went away happy as could be. I hope you enjoyed it, baby girl. I love you. So I guess everything worked out in the end, huh? Even if it was a little crazy. I love you. I hope you enjoyed your story. It's all over. Night night, baby girl.